Imagine having hundreds of thousands of baseball cards and all of them are for one team. Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So this is a really fun story. Actually, I got the story from Sports Collectors Daily from I think a few weeks ago. Really fun attic find Friday, and it's more like a house find Friday. I'm going to get into it here, but first of all, Attic Find Friday is sponsored by Just Collect. Led by Leighton Sheldon, Just Collect is one of the largest buyers of sports cards in America. You can get a free appraisal on your collection if you're interested in selling any of it or all of it. Just go to justcollect.com, click on their free appraisal form, or you can just email leighton@justcollect.com for an assessment. Let's jump in here. This is a pretty wild story, and I love these really interesting collections. Like yesterday I did that Ken Griffey Jr. story about people who collect 1s through 10s, and then people started talking to me about, well, there are people who collect half grades too, so 1 through 10 plus all the half grades. I love these kinds of stories. It's wild. It's not something I would do, but that's what I love about the hobby. This person here, so the LCS owner, Eric Beletsky in upstate New York, has been owning has owned a local card shop there for a number of years now. His father, 77 years old, works part-time at a trash compacting site. A woman came in to where he worked, saw his Yankees hat. This is how this stuff happens. I mean, it's just such a weird coincidence. She saw Eric Beletsky's father's Yankees hat and mentioned that she's cleaning out her deceased father's house, and he had a lot of cards and memorabilia and things like that, and she's trying to get rid of it. And he said, well, my son owns a card shop and might be very interested. Referred her to his son, and she called Eric Beletsky, and she said that she had a lot of baseball cards from the 80s and 90s that she was looking to sell. Eric said, we don't buy 80s and 90s cards, but he knew the family and agreed to go by and look at them. What a nice guy. I do this too. Every time somebody calls me and says, hey, will you come by and look at our cards? We have vintage cards that we've had in our basement, in our closet for years and years. I know immediately. It's all 80s and 90s stuff. But Eric went by. The only sign of there being, it being a big sports fan is there's a Yankees flag out front. The house is dusty because the father passed away, I think, a few years ago, and they're just cleaning out the house, trying to prepare it for sale, I guess, or maybe for somebody else to take it over. Here comes my cat meowing, as always. And so he walks in, he finds that there's actually a lot of vintage stuff too, and bobbleheads and they're programs from the 1940s all the way up through the 2000s, and it was a beast of a collection. He said that the house was just loaded and loaded and loaded with cards and memorabilia and just Yankees stuff. And you know me, I don't like the Yankees at all. I'm a Red Sox fan and really strongly dislike the Yankees, as any good Red Sox fan would and should. So the father was an ex-Marine. He was a Vietnam War vet. He was divorced and apparently just dedicated his time to collecting, and his money too, obviously. And reportedly passed away of a heart attack while sitting in his chair sorting cards. Eric said that this gentleman's cards were in pristine condition. He had every Yankees card from 1952 to 2021. Rainbows, everything. Just unbelievable. He also had figurines and bobblehead dolls and so much different stuff. He had autographed baseballs, a lot of autographed baseballs, including one of the 1961 Yankees team with a bunch of team members who had signed it. He had the Mantle run, Mickey Mantle run, minus the 1952, which he had sold a few years before to pay for his daughter's college education. Gotta love this guy. Even though he's a Yankees fan, gotta love him. The gentleman who the daughter preferred to keep everybody's name out of it. The gentleman had 90 binders, Eric said, with 100 pages each. That is about 81,000 cards just in binders. They were organized by year and by player. He also had 50 3,200 count boxes packed. That's another 160,000 cards, assuming you've got 3,200 cards in there, which I know is unlikely. But he had vintage cards mixed with new. Eric was surprised to find a 1959 mantle mixed in with modern relic cards. So imagine you just have to go through every single box, every single card. This seems like a blast to me. I would love to do this. And then he's already wanting to buy all of this, of course, because it's just amazing, amazing cards. She mentioned the safe deposit box. In the safe deposit box, her father had some of his bigger cards, some mantles, Koufaxes. He had a Nolan Ryan rookie and a Reggie Jackson rookie. So not only Yankees, even though it's almost all Yankees cards. When it came time to negotiate, Eric says he was surprised at how little they wanted for it, and he had to convince them to take more, and they still wouldn't take very much. He wouldn't say how much he bought it for, but he said that he was surprised at how little they asked him for. In fact, he has sold only the cards from 1952 and 53, and that has helped him break even on the collection buy, which is pretty amazing. She was the collector's daughter was just trying to clean out the house, wanted to get rid of everything, and ready to have it over with. So she sold it cheap. And now this is where I point you to Sports Collectors Daily, because I think the rest of the story is really good, but it's about Eric, the LCS owner. Go read it. It's about his collecting habits, his collection, his history as a collector. I'm not going to get into that, but it talks about the things he might keep. I will share that he's going to keep the autographed baseballs, which is really cool. But I want you to go and read the article. It's I really like the article. I think Sports Collectors Daily does a great job with this stuff. Yeah, go read the story. I'll link it in the description along with the link to Just Collect and their appraisal form. That's it. I'll be back again maybe tomorrow with a video. I'm not really sure. But then again on Sunday, Clearing the Bases episode. And after I finally fix my website this week, I will be back with a newsletter on Monday. That just took me way longer than expected. But I'm happy to be back. Another newsletter. Make sure you're subscribed. junkboxhero.com. You can subscribe, read any past issues as well. And that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you guys have a great weekend.